guys, welcome to another episode of Caught in the Middle. My name is Tyler.
I'm Jordan.
And we're joined today by our good friend...
Hunter!
Hey!
Woo!
And what are we doing today?
Today we're debating the classic fight, PlayStation.
I feel like you
versus
always
Xbox.
say it's a classic fight, regardless of what it is.
It always is. It could be a fight that just happened like
and you're
yesterday.
always drawing a line in the sand.
I
That's
am.
the quote. We gotta make that a shirt.
We do, yeah. Drawing a line in the sand, PlayStation versus Xbox. This is a heated debate.
PlayStation versus Xbox.
Yes.
Let's do it! So yes, PlayStation versus Xbox.
Yep.
Pretty heated debate. Everybody's got their opinions, as always.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan, how are you as a gamer? Where did you start? How would you describe yourself?
I started as a wee lad on the Super Nintendo.
Oh, that's classic.
Yeah. My mom, she was dating a guy at the time. He brought Super Nintendo, and they broke up, and she told him he had to leave the Super Nintendo.
Oh.
So I played Super Nintendo, and then I heard about this PlayStation thing, so I got that.
Okay.
And I started, Crash Bandicoot, and I played all the classics, and I've just been PlayStation ever since.
Nice.
I play Xbox occasionally when I go to friends' parties. So my friends usually have Xbox.
Gotcha.
So,
the friends have the Xbox. So you know a little bit about it.
Yeah, a little bit.
That's good. That's good. What about you, Hunter? How are you as a gamer?
So, I started with the PlayStation with the PS1, this very controller actually.
Oh.
I mean, not this, because this is phone, but...
The same one, boy!
the same exact one. But I started with a PlayStation, and I played a lot of demo discs, if you guys remember those.
They were the best.
And that PS1 Spider-Man, I played that a lot. I didn't move on to Xbox until later, because I remember Halo was I think the first Xbox game I played.
That's gonna be a talking point.
And Fusion Frenzy, if anyone remembers that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've honestly had both consoles through most of my life. There was a period where I didn't have a PlayStation 3, so I was...
Really?
Yeah.
What the highest selling console?
I know.
You're a contrarian.
I think PS2 was the highest selling console.
You're right, PS2 was.
But
yeah.
I had a PS2, I went 360 and Wii, and I didn't have a PlayStation 3.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
we're gonna get into that for sure. I've got some talking points.
But now I have both Xbox One and PS4, and I'll get both consoles when they come out. So both new consoles when they come out.
Right. And Tyler?
For me, I'm a Nintendo boy through and through. If this debate was PlayStation versus Xbox versus Nintendo, I would choose Nintendo.
Okay.
But this is Xbox versus PlayStation. So Nintendo 64 is what I was born and raised on. Then to the GameCube, then to the Wii, and then of course I had an Xbox 360 on the side. But now I have a PS4. So that's where I come from. That's where I'm at.
Nice. All varied, different histories.
Yeah.
Shout out to the PC gamers too, though. We don't want to, we know those PC gamers. They like to, woo, consoles aren't great. You know what I mean? But it's, do what you want. Do what you think is fun for yourself, not what everybody else is saying. I know the PCs are very elitist, but consoles can be good too.
They are elitist. Our friend of the show, Stacy, she's very...
Oh, she?
PC elitist.
Oh shit. Well, that's Eric too, our good friend as
well.
Really?
I find the computer controls very awkward. I can't master it.
I feel the same way.
Yeah, I think that's why they make controllers for...
That's true.
I play PC games with the controller.
Yeah.
And
I don't think they have a PlayStation style controller for... I think it's just the Xbox style, right?
I've actually played some PC games with a PS4 controller.
Oh, dude.
I've hooked it up wirelessly.
Or...
Yeah, you'll have to download a program and all that kind of stuff. But it works. But a lot of PC gamers would be like, you're playing with a handicap. Not handicap. No. You're playing with you're playing against computer people that are doing so much better on a computer as opposed to a controller. They feel that the controller is harder to handle, harder to use.
Right.
Easier to kill people with your mouse and keyboard, but for me, it just hasn't been the case.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's get into it then. PlayStation versus Xbox. Let's do the first word with our good friend Hunter.
Okay, so this is a tough question because, as I said, I've had them both growing up. I feel like PlayStation versus Xbox is dependent on the specific question you're asking, like whether it's like which console has the best games or what like which console is better like for families or whatever. Because like right now I'd say that PlayStation has the better games. Like they have more exclusive games and they're better, but I feel like Xbox is more accessible and smarter, I guess, because they have mostly because they have Games Pass, which is like that subscription service where you like pay, I think it's like $10 or $15 a month, and you get like hundreds of games.
Yeah.
So like
PlayStation's got their own version of that too, right?
they do,
PlayStation.
but I think it's because I used it for a while and then I stopped using it. Whereas Games Pass, I still have Games Pass.
Okay.
So it might be Game Pass.
I think it's Game Pass. Yeah.
Game Pass.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I feel like that.
You
voids
never
my
had,
whole argument.
You never had Game Pass.
I never had Game Pass. But because I think it's what the PS Now subscription is.
I think so.
Yeah.
I never used it though.
And I used it. I just didn't find because with Game Pass or you don't have to stream the games. You can like download them, and then as long as you have that service.
Yeah.
With PS Now, you have to stream the games.
Interesting.
So you're not. I mean, you're still downloading them, but you're streaming them as well. So it's which I don't think is the same as Game Pass.
Right.
So if I had to choose right now, I'd say the smarter option. The smarter option, I guess, would be Xbox because you just get more with that. But if you're like maybe a person who only buys a few games a year and you're like good with that, then I'd go PlayStation because I feel like there's better content out there. Maybe if you're not as nostalgic, because a lot of the Game Pass games are also like older games.
Okay.
Which I feel like I'm going on for so long because this is
No, I like this.
It's all good.
with the newer generation though, that the Xbox Series X, they're gonna start releasing like Halo Infinite Game Pass day one.
Oh yeah. I heard that. Yeah.
So like the new games coming out, I also feel like I'm not looking at the camera enough. The new games, I'm like just looking at you.
I never know where to look. Sometimes
I
I
know,
know
I'm
camera,
like-
then when
There's
you
no
guys.
camera here.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
the new games coming out on Xbox Series X are gonna go straight to Game Pass. So like, I feel like at that point, it's if you're not interested in exclusives and you just want to play games, then I would go Xbox.
Interesting. If you bought a console today,
Well, the Series X isn't out right now.
so the next generation,
The next generation, yeah.
Xbox over PS5.
Oh, so Xbox or PS5?
Well, that's your choice, right? Because you're suggesting
Yeah.
Xbox over.
I mean, this is going to completely contradict. I'm probably going to get a PS5 first, but I think Xbox Series X is the smarter choice if you
Interesting.
want to play. Because the thing with going on for so long, I feel like I like this at all. But the thing with PS5 is that I don't think there's going to be as many games at launch as on Xbox, because like I said with Xbox, like you'll have all these games on Game Pass right away, and then you'll have the previous Game Pass games. So PS Now, I haven't heard if they're going to keep that for PS5.
I hope they don't, because PS Now is just a bunch of PS3 games.
Yeah.
And occasional PS4 games you'll find on there.
PS Now is like more PS Past.
Yeah,
that's
honestly,
a good way
it
to
is.
put it.
That's-
Yeah, because like I skimmed through it the other day just out of curiosity. I was like, these are all PlayStation 3 games and a few PS4 games no one cares about.
Yeah, that's also true.
Which is very bizarre, because I feel like PlayStation, they compete. That's the one thing that they're losing in the battle, I feel, is the streaming thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And they could easily, I don't know.
So where do you stand on this, Jordan?
Well, I'm trying to keep my PlayStation bias out.
Trying to best.
Yeah.
As you wear your PlayStation
Right.
hat,
All of these are
Yes.
his word away.
PlayStation coasters, and
But I've made notes on my notebook,
on your PlayStation
on my
notebook.
PlayStation notebook, and in conclusion,
that just-
Wow, that just says Xbox bad.
it says Xbox bad.
Guys, Xbox bad.
Xbox
Yes,
bad.
Xbox bad. But that's in the general conclusion. Xbox bad.
Do you have a second page
And-
next to that?
PlayStation good.
PlayStation good.
PlayStation good.
PlayStation good. To elaborate on that, I feel like PlayStation, they have more exclusives.
Okay.
They're I swear I had more on this.
PlayStation good. PlayStation
good.
PlayStation good.
I want to point out that when I asked you, do I need to prepare anything? You said, no, it's just whatever. And then you're like, I don't have anything. Like, I'm just going to say whatever comes to mind. And you have like a notebook and like all these props.
I forgot my brother got me this Christmas gift set and it's like yesterday. And I was like, oh yeah, I could bring it. It'd be a fun theme.
Nice.
But yeah, Xbox, I feel like they're reliant on Gears of War and Halo. I feel like those are past their prime. They don't have anything else that's exciting.
Don't tell it to Eric though. Eric loves Halo. But it doesn't matter because he's a PC guy. So
yeah.
Well, they have it on PC now.
Exactly.
Yeah, I feel like Halo lost its, coolness after Halo 3. I feel like that series needs to have a conclusion.
Interesting.
But yeah, and I feel like I'm not a techie guy, but I hear the specs for PlayStation are better. But I kept reading conflicting articles, but I read more articles.
A lot of them are conflicting.
Yeah. Because like one video I'd watch, it'd be like, PlayStation specs are better. And the next one would be like, well, my other thing with Xbox is they have so many different versions of their console. It's confusing.
Yeah.
Which makes me so frustrated. And Xbox, I'm sorry, I don't like their numbering system. You go from Xbox to 360 to 1, and then now we're at Series X.
Yeah.
My friend suggested Xbox Infinity. If you want to close out the numbers, go Infinity and then restart with Series X. Don't just drop it. I don't know. I feel like Microsoft, Xbox don't know what they're doing. PlayStation does.
Interesting.
Keeping your bias out of it.
Keeping my bias out of it completely. I analyzed this thoroughly. Those are my thoughts. Tyler?
I feel you there. I mean, if I had to choose one, like overarching, I would definitely lean towards PlayStation over Xbox. But if I were to go into the nitty gritty and the small stuff, I like to separate it by each generation, right? So PlayStation 1, that wins automatically because Xbox didn't, and Microsoft didn't have their own version.
Right.
All right, PlayStation 2 is released against Xbox. PlayStation 2 wins, in my opinion. They have DVDs. You can play a DVD on your console. That was amazing.
Mind-blowing.
Mind-blowing.
You
get
could
to
also
PlayStation
do it on
3,
Xbox later on.
It's true.
Later
on.
So
Later on.
we get to the PlayStation 3. Okay. Well, you gotta admit the fact that Xbox 360 wins in the war between PS3 versus Xbox 360. In my opinion, Xbox 360 wins, and I had an Xbox 360. PlayStation 3 cost more, was released a year later, and it just wasn't as great. They didn't have that many titles. They didn't have a lot going for it for PlayStation 3. They dropped the ball.
I feel like a lot of my friends at the time about 360s kept complaining about the red light of death.
That's true also,
I
yeah.
never
Yeah,
experienced it.
Really?
I
Because
did.
every one of my friends went through a period where like, bro, gotta wait for the new Xbox. Like, what happened, bro? Red light of death!
Yeah.
And that never happened to me until PlayStation.
On release, Xbox 360, $299.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
PS3 a year later, $499.
Wow.
I will say 360 at the time, Halo, Gears were at the,
When
at the
Xbox 360
prime.
came out, that Call of Duty was a big thing.
Call of Duty is a big thing. I feel like Xbox is great for online communities, and PlayStation's better for like storytelling and like, I don't know, exclusives.
I can see that.
I guess I could see that.
Because a lot of my friends who had Xbox, they're big into like getting online, bro. You logging on, and PlayStation people, they're more like, oh, The Last of Us was such a breathtaking.
So you say that, and that's funny, and I agree to an extent because like they have like God of War, they have Last of Us, they have Spider-Man, which are all Uncharted, which are all really story-driven games. But also the fighting game community is huge in PlayStation. Like bigger
That's true.
a lot of the tournaments are held on PlayStation. So it's funny that they have like, you say that, oh yeah, they're like more common, like I just want to enjoy a story, but then there's also those people who are like, I want to kill people, like.
Yeah, that's a good point. The fighting games are my blind spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, after Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe, I got out. Which is the one fighting game I feel is like fighting community doesn't even look at.
Well, then you get to PS4 versus
Yes.
Xbox One, and I feel like PS4 just completely obliterates Xbox One under the water. Personally.
Absolutely.
They like the release of PS3, Sony's like, shit, we didn't do good. We gotta step up our game. And then that's what they did with the PlayStation 4 is what I felt like. And they just like, feel like I'm trying to remember all the controversies and like memes that came out of PlayStation 4 versus Xbox One, and it was like a lot of back and forth between like, oh, cross compatibility, or oh, playing old games on a console, or oh, we're not going to be releasing physical discs, stuff like that. And every single time Sony would be like, aha, we got the stuff that Xbox doesn't have. And they're like trying to one up them the entire time.
I will say that Xbox One, it won in the backwards compatibility department.
Yeah.
Which is huge. I'm a big backwards compatible person. That's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because with PlayStation, I think the only way is through PS Now is to have backwards compatible games.
Yeah.
So with Xbox, you can just pop in a disc, and not all of them are backwards compatible. But if you have the disc already, like you can. I think there's a website for it too, and they might still be adding new backwards compatible games.
I'm glad you brought that up because that was a huge. Because PlayStation 3, there's only a distinct like gigabyte that had like 80 gigabyte PS3 whatever could play backwards compatible. And when I got PS3, there's still a lot of PlayStation 2 games I wanted to play. So that was huge. I had to like after my first one, I got the Yellow Light of Death, R.I.P.
Yellow Light.
Yeah, there's Yellow Light of Death. Not as common as the Red.
Oh, I've never heard of that.
Yeah, I hadn't either until it happened.
Oh, interesting.
And then I knew. I wanted to get the second one. They were so hard to find, and I wanted to play my PlayStation 2 games. So that was frustrating. I think backwards compatibility is huge. So I agree.
Yeah. It's an interesting debate because then like there's so many different things you can like think about between the two. It's like, all right, we talk about the specs. All right, how much do you care about the graphics on your screen? Can your screen even handle the graphics that the console can do in the first place? So yeah, graphics, that's one. People like go back and forth on that. Price is, I feel like price is one of the biggest things. Especially with the Xbox 360 being released for $299. That was a really, really big thing. And that's why I feel like for the current generation that's about to be released with the PlayStation 5 versus, what's the Xbox one called?
Xbox Series
X.
For a while it was just,
Can you remember it?
They were like, it was just the Xbox, which...
Yeah.
That was a bad decision.
It was some woman's name for a while. They said Project, right?
Really?
It was like Project Veronica or something.
I feel like
remember that?
I remember Project Scorpio. I think that was the
Series
S, though.
For the new Xbox, there was like a code name they called it for a while.
Interesting.
Xbox Scarlet. It was Xbox Scarlet. And for a while, I thought that was their official name, and I was like, "What is going on? What does that even mean?"
Scarlet on.
Yes.
What?
I was offended that they were calling Xbox Scarlet. Like, why abandoning this for sexy female names? Like, it makes no sense.
Neither of them have released their price yet.
Yeah, which is crazy to me because they both come out this year, right?
Yeah.
This year.
Yeah. They probably want to like do the same thing that happened. Like, they want to have maybe $50 less than whatever the competitor's going to be.
Yeah, I think they're waiting out.
Because whoever chooses like or has the lower console usually wins.
Right.
Any concluding thoughts?
I swear I'm trying to fit an Xbox more in my head.
Which console would you buy for the future generation that's coming out?
For me, PlayStation. If I had to recommend a console, it'd be with a caveat. If you're more of like a online gamer, I'd say maybe go to Xbox because the console goes more for online games. Halo, Gears, COD. I feel like there's more Xbox-centric online games.
There aren't a whole lot of exclusives, though. That's the thing.
Yeah, which is so weird. Why can't Microsoft get those exclusives? It's like I know, but the Game Pass. If you're more of an economic gamer, gaming on a budget, Game Pass is the way to go.
Yeah,
I mean that's a huge thing to have in your corner.
Yeah.
But if you're wanting more story-driven, compelling narrative games. More, PlayStation, which is me. I don't play online games hardly at all.
Yeah. No, same here. I only play with like people I know.
Same, yeah.
Any concluding thoughts, Hunter?
Well, as I said earlier, I'm getting the PS5 first. Not only because I think it comes out first, but because I care more about Spider-Man than I do about Halo.
Yeah.
Which would be like the reason I get each console.
Yeah. It's a good thing for PlayStation to like sell on Spider-Man.
Right.
It's doing really well. If I had to choose one side or the other, it's going to be PlayStation. But the caveat there is that there's different generations. Sometimes Xbox One. Hold on. Xbox One. sometimes Microsoft won the battle versus Sony. They have an Xbox One, yeah. Xbox 360 won PlayStation 3, so it's like sometimes Xbox wins it out, but it was only that one time. So we'll see what happens in the future. I would absolutely suggest a PS5 over whatever the newest Xbox console is coming. But if you're a family, I would probably suggest the Nintendo Switch.
I thought you were going to say Xbox One because it's so diverse.
No, Nintendo Switch for families for sure. It's just a great, it's all-around thing. I don't think Microsoft versus Sony are competing for the family demographic right now because I feel like Nintendo has such a grasp on it.
Yeah.
It's just too hard, so they don't have to try because it's not something they really need to do. I think Sony and Microsoft are definitely trying to sell us on the consoles, not necessarily families. So for us, I don't know, PlayStation, you gotta do it. You gotta do what you gotta do. I feel like PlayStation's where it's at right now. But I'll be pleasantly surprised if Xbox blows it out of the water. I'm always interested in those kinds of stories when it's like you expect one thing and you get the opposite. So we'll just have to wait and see. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. We'll see.
What do you guys think, though? Yeah. What do they think?
Comment below.
Yeah, comment below. Are you a PlayStation fanboy, a Microsoft fanboy, or a PC elitist? Where do you stand?
Or
tell us why we're wrong.
You didn't say anything about Nintendo in that little.
You held your bias. I was impressed. Are you more of a board game person?
That is.
Do you go outside?
Do you go outside? How is it out there?
I don't like sun. Yeah. Well, that was us for this episode of Caught in the Middle.
Yes.
Hopefully our last shitty sound episode, shitty lighting episode, all the above. Hoping to get some nice upgrades in the future. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.
On Caught in the Middle.
Do it and subscribe, or we'll do something to you.
Can I just say, I'm so disappointed none of you commented on my PlayStation socks.
I didn't even realize you had PlayStation.
Yes.
I don't know if that's... I feel like that's sad.
No, it's not. Cool kids are doing it.
I don't think any cool kids are doing it.